I'm the 30-06 guy. That's what I hunt with. So why am I hunting out of season with a 6.5 Creedmoor? Guy Miner here from UltimateReloader.com. Hey, just last week I got a phone call from an old buddy, another military veteran, who said, I've got a deal for you. Do you want to go deer hunting? Yeah, of course I want to go deer hunting, but October's a long way away. No, we're going day after tomorrow. Okay then. And what it is he got access to damage control hunt. There's a property owner in the area who is getting lots of damage on his orchard from a lot of different mule deer. And so they're coming in and just eating the heck out of his orchard, and Fish and Wildlife Department has given him the ability to have these damage control hunts, and he's bringing one guy at a time onto his property, and he really likes doing this for military veterans. So why not? For me, it's a meat hunt, a chance to hunt with a rifle I have not yet taken a deer with, and for him, it's each hunter is taking another deer out that's no longer eating on his orchard, and it's behind a fence, but they're still getting in there. All in all, win-win situation. Let's take a look at it. If you guys have been watching the channel here, you've seen this rifle before. This is a Berger, and it is the Ridge Carbon Wilderness. Now, we've updated it a bit. Got it sitting in a pillar-bedded Boyd stock. Worked out really good. I like the way this stock feels. Berger built a heck of a rifle, and I just like the feel of this stock better than the original stock. Nothing wrong with the original one. This one is better for me. Topped it with a Leupold. It's a VX5 HD 3-15 by 44. That 3-15 to me is an incredible range, partly because I often hunt with just a fixed 6-power scope. We've got ourselves a 22-inch barrel here that's threaded on the end. It's carbon wrapped. Did have a muzzle brake on there, but hey, it's only a 6.5 Creed, and I'm good to go without the muzzle brake on there. It's a little nicer on my old ears too. So, good rifle, and we finally got a chance to take a deer with it, and I'm pretty happy about that. I went really high quality on all the components for this load. You cannot knock the Berger 140 grain Elite Hunter for quality. Very, very accurate bullet, and it's very effective on game, as I just found out. Went to Finland for our cases and our powder. And we've got the Vitivori N555, which was developed specifically for the 6.5 Creed and does very, very well in it. It's also temperature insensitive. It's very stable in the different temperatures. It has got an anti-copper fouling compound in it, so it keeps your barrel cleaner longer. That's a good thing. And I found it's very, very reliable over a lot of different conditions and at lower charges and higher charges. I like it, all that. They also advertise that they've got very good lot-to-lot consistency. So if you work up a load with one lot of this powder, you run out of it, you go out and buy some more, you're probably going to have very similar results. That's not the case in all powders, but it seems to be, from what I've seen of the Vitivori powders, it seems to work out just fine. Lapua cases. If you're doing any kind of precision reloading, check out their cases. They are extremely good. They last a long time. They are precision made. They're going to weigh very close to the same all the way through. They're going to be just a really good base for a match grade type accuracy, whether it's a hunting load or a match load. I like them a lot. And I sparked them with good old Federal 210 match primers. I went with the large rifle primer cases. You can get the Lapua cases with small primers or large ones. Hunting loads could be used down in very cold weather. I decided I'd like to stay with the large primers for better ignition. Taking a look at the Berger 140 grain Elite Hunter, and one of the things that really popped out to me, I still think in terms of G1 BC, and on this it's .606. That is the highest BC of any bullet I've ever hunted with. I'm used to hunting with things that have a BC somewhere in the 4s, and I've done that for years and years, and this is just this long, skinny bullet with very, very tapered, and it's got the long tapered boat tail. So that's pretty high BC, ballistic coefficient. 0.31 on the G7, which puts it at the upper end as well for 6.5 bullets. Not the extreme upper end, but up there. And that high BC, that gives you something that's really valuable, that lets you retain that velocity. Whatever you launch it at, it sheds it more slowly because of that high figure. Shoots flatter, defies the wind better, all that good stuff. You don't need gobs and gobs of velocity for it to still have good velocity down at 500 and 600 yards, which is pretty cool. Does require a 1-to-8 or faster twist, and fortunately 6.5 Creeds by and large have the 1-to-8 or faster twist barrels. Did all my hand loading on the RCBS Summit press. I used their Supreme dies that we've got sitting here. Pretty good piece of gear. I used the case gauge and then their Uniflow 3 manual powder measure. I used that. Had to fiddle a little bit to get the exact right charge, so I weighed every one of them. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. I've been doing that for a long time. It doesn't flow quite as good. The powder doesn't flow quite as good as ball powders do, but it's close. They're little tiny short kernels, and it did seem to go pretty well. Used their M500 mechanical scale, and then I also used RCBS's universal hand priming tool. I'm really impressed with that. I've been using it a lot lately, and I'm bouncing around from .473 cases to things as big as belted magnums and even the 45-70. I've been using that, and that's amazing to me to not have to go scramble around for shell holders for all that. Worked out great. I thoroughly enjoyed the loading process. Our results were very good. Averaged 2,721 feet per second, had only a 9 foot per second SD, standard deviation. Now, that was for a mere 5 shots, okay? Small sample size, I get it, but that's what it was. I went with 3-shot groups with this rifle because this is a hunting load and it's a hunting rifle, and if I can put 3 consistently in somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch, time after time after time, after I let the barrel cool down, that's all I need for a hunting load. I know there's arguments that say you need to shoot 10 or you need to shoot 20. That's fine. If I was still shooting matches, we did 20-shot strings of fire, and that makes all kinds of sense to me. But this is a hunting rifle. I really only care about those 3 shots. And if time after time I can put those 3 shots, the same point of impact, and nice tight groups, I'm happy, very happy. That's all I need to do. Let's take a look at our external ballistics. Launching at 2725 muzzle velocity, and we get down there, and I zeroed this at 200 yards because I knew roughly where I was going to be hunting, and I'd probably have a shot somewhere between 150 and 300 yards on this deer hunt. And I said, okay, fine, I'll zero it at 200, that'll take care of me. And it's about 8 inches low at 300, and it's only a couple of inches high at 100, so it's really easy to deal with, not a problem. 400-yard shot also would not be a problem. I've done that with the same kind of trajectory before, no big deal, without dialing. Now, scope like this, really easy to dial for your elevation too if I wanted to do that. Now, another point I forgot to mention on the scope, it has got the coolest little bright red dot that you can turn on in the center of the crosshairs, which is really, really nice when it comes to low light shooting at either dawn or dusk. Helps you out a lot. Meanwhile, back to our external ballistics, all the way out at 500 yards, we're looking at a little over 2,000 feet per second. That's my floor for expansion on many bullets. I don't like to see them drop down below about 2,000. Sometimes 1,800, sometimes 1,600, depending on the bullet. If it's specifically designed to work at really low velocities, that's great. 2,000 is pretty safe. You can pretty much guarantee you're going to get your expansion or fragmentation or whatever it is that you want to get. Let's talk about the hunt. I went out and scouted one afternoon until dark or so. Saw a lot of mule deer. Did not get, we were thinking about hunting, but just did a scouting trip that day. Next day, going out there early in the morning, just about time it's getting light, walk on out, take it nice and easy, and there's mule deer. What happens is they live up in the hills, up above the orchards, and comes dark, they all come down, they feed in the orchards, they stay down in there, and then starts getting light, they start moving right back up into the hills. And these deer are hungry. We are deep into winter now. It's February when we did this hunt, late February, and the deer have not been eating well, and they are trying to get to this orchard, working on it, and that's why we had that chance to go out there, because it was a damage control hunt. Didn't really matter which one you took, is all antlerless. You can't shoot anything with antlers on it. Roger that, not a problem. A lot of the bucks have already shed their antlers anyway. So this is a dual purpose. Again, damage control and a meat hunt for me or other veterans that got invited to come on out there on other days. This worked out really nice. It was a quality hunt. It was just me and my buddy. That's it, on this rather large chunk of property that we had a chance to wander around on. Quiet, safe, nobody else out there. Deer behaving very much normally in their normal pattern. Nobody's out there scaring them. No ATVs running around, no trucks running around. Just us walk out there and watch and wait for a shot opportunity. And eventually it happened. We wound up with deer starting to cross out in front of us kind of diagonally. They came into view about 150 yards out, had a small batch of does going along there. And mule deer, it's kind of interesting. Eventually, they usually turn and stop and look. And I think they may have known we were there, maybe not, I don't know. At any rate, the lead doe did. Stopped, broadside, turned and looked back at us. Time to shoot. I've got the rifle on the tripod, ready to go. Been watching her, tracking her with the crosshairs. She's out there about 200 yards by this point. First bullet right into the heart, right behind the leg. Nice heart shot. Did a lot of damage. Later on field dressing, I saw that it had taken about a third of her heart off. She dropped instantly. Amazing to me though, she wasn't dead. So she drops down and she angles a little bit. And now I've got a deer out there with its head still up. Well, if you've done much hunting, you realize when they're out there and they've got their head still up, they're hurt. They're not dead, they're hurt. And I have seen times when a deer's gone down and then gotten back up and decided to run for it. This is not something I like to see. So instantly, I'd already chambered another round, and as soon as I could, I put it into her rib cage, and that finished her. Just second shot, not a problem whatsoever. Got back on very quickly because it's a 6.5 Creed. It doesn't recoil much, and accurate, and hammered in that second shot, and that was the end. Yeah, so then I just had to go up in the snow and go get her. Not a problem. One of the things that I like about hunting in this area is the variety of wildlife. And I just wanted to mention that briefly because we were really not very far from my home, frankly. I do much of my hunting within 20-25 miles of my home, and this was no exception. In that same 25-mile radius, you can find the mule deer, almost no whitetail. Very seldom do I see a whitetail anywhere around here. And then you also can run into elk, and you can also run into bighorn sheep. You really don't know what all you're going to find out there. And of course, later on, the bears will come out of hibernation, and we've got those too. So it's kind of cool. You never know for sure what you're going to see. I didn't see either the rams or the elk on this hunt, but I frequently do in this same area. Mule deer, yeah, they're kind of cool. They go, these does go anywhere from about 100 up to 180 pounds or so. It's kind of an average weight range for these guys. And, you know, some of them are pretty big. This one of mine was not very big. They have excellent eyesight, excellent hearing, and a very good sense of smell. They definitely can detect you if you're doing any moving, talking, anything like that. They've got a really good chance of figuring out that you're there. So stealth is a thing. Do your hunting with your glasses. Use your binos on them. Use your spotting scopes. Try to figure out where they are and then figure out how to intercept them or lay in wait for them and make it work that way. You probably don't want to be covering lots and lots of ground out there, making noise, spreading your scent around and scaring them off. Can draw some conclusions from this, even though this is one deer for this rifle and my first deer with the 6.5 Creed. One, I'd like to mention, this is the 5th mule deer I've taken with Berger bullets. I shot 3 with 115 grain VLD from my 25-06 back about 15 years or so ago. 3 different deer, all one-shot instant drops. A couple of years ago, I shot a nice buck up in Okanagan County with 180 grain Berger Elite Hunter from a 30-06. Again, an instant drop out there about 350 yards. And then now this little doe in a damage control hunt with a 6.5 Creed and 140 grain Elite Hunter. all of them have worked really, really well. I haven't had any problems getting my deer. The bullet is deadly and it's accurate. I like that. I like the Creed. It is a, it takes a lot of heat. A lot of people give it flack because, they want to hunt with something that's got much more power or whatever. It's deer. How many thousands and thousands of deer get taken every year with a .243 Winchester, which is a lot smaller and less powerful than the 6.5 Creed. So, okay, it's not a great big bad, belted Magnum or a Remington Ultra Mag or anything like that. No, it's a nice deer cartridge. It really is, and I'm quite pleased with it. I have no problem with hunting with that whatsoever. The case life is good. Accuracy is easy and the recoil is mild and it's lethal. So there you go. As far as the rifle goes, now that I've made it pretty much my own with this new stock, and then Gavin put this really nice scope on there, it's one heck of a setup, and I will happily continue to hunt with this setup as time goes on and I get more opportunities to use it. It's been good. I have to admit I really like it. The rest of the components, the cases are good, you know that. If you've looked at Lopwa cases before, they're really quite good and they will outlast a lot of others on the market. So yeah, you pay more, but you get more. And that Vitavuri N555, I've used several different powders in the 6.5 Creed now, and it stacks up really well against the other powders too. So that's nice. I also like to I thank Fish and Wildlife for letting this damage control hunt happen. I'd like to thank the landowner for reaching out to a veterans group to get veterans moving through his property out there hunting and doing that meat hunt. That was pretty great. And I'm really grateful for a chance to hunt with an old friend, a guy I've known for about 30 years. And that was really pretty special. We hadn't been out hunting. So it was good to spend time with him, spend a couple of days out there in the hills with him, and it worked out well for us. So what I want to know is, are you hunting with 6.5 Creed? Are you hunting with Berger bullets? Have you tried N555 or some other Vitavuri powder? How's that working out for you? Drop a comment and we'll have a discussion. That means it's time to wrap this up.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.